Hi, I'm Barbara Weber. Our story today is a gift of partnership.
And I'm Debbie Smith. We're both members of the Partner Church Committee. Today, we're going to tell some stories about the partnership Mainline Unitarian Church has with a Unitarian church in a village in Transylvania, Romania. I was motivated to visit the village, Varfalva, because I'd heard stories about the warm and welcoming people there. And also, I wanted to learn more about people from a different culture who share my religion. What inspired you to get involved?
Well, one Sunday over 20 years ago, my teenage children heard a young Transylvanian minister speak. She extended a warm invitation to our congregation to visit Unitarians in Transylvania, to share what real Americans were like, and not just the TV images of life in the U.S. After the service, my children asked if our family could visit, so I decided to find out more about this. I learned about the start of the Unitarian religion in the 1500s and about the very, very old Varfalva Unitarian Church, which was our partner. In 1999, MLUC made our first official visit to this small farming community nestled among lush fields and beautiful rolling hills.
What was the visit like? There must have been lots of surprises. And how did you talk with them? Don't they speak Hungarian?
The four of us each stayed in the home of a different family. With a translator's help, a Hungarian dictionary, and photos, we were able to begin to understand each other. They were very glad to meet us since they had been writing letters to their sister church since 1992.
Was their church like ours?
It was Unitarian, but very different. Their ancient stone building had a tall bell tower and no heat inside, so even on a sunny April day, my knees knocked together with cold. There were beautiful flowers on a central table. Red embroidered cloths decorated the raised platform where their ministers spoke.
I've heard they're very generous and that you exchange gifts with them. How did the two groups decide what to give if they didn't know much about each other?
We were welcomed like special guests with delicious homemade meals and often given the most comfortable bed in the house. MOUC gave Varfalva a small chalice with candles, and we were given a set of 4 pieces of traditional Hungarian pottery with red designs, similar to the flower-filled vases we saw in their church.
These look very fragile. How did you bring them home?
Each of us carefully put one piece in our carry-on luggage, wrapped in our clothing to cushion them for the long journey back home. Today, we use them for special partner church services. MLUC's first trip was a great moment in our growing friendship.
How can everybody at MLUC participate in a partnership with a church that's so far away?
Besides sending letters and holiday cards, celebrating Partner Church Sunday with sermons, plays, and stories, our church school classes have created special projects. Once, our 5th graders made a pulpit cloth like Varfalva's, out of red-colored paper squares tied together with yarn. We sent our partners photos to describe the activity.
Now we have a beautiful embroidered pulpit cloth. How did we get it?
Well, we always ask many questions about life on their farms, names of the different foods, and special holidays. And they ask us about movies, the cost of our chickens, and what it's like to fly in an airplane. We're very curious about each other, so it was not unusual for them to ask about the size of our pulpit. Apparently, they got a gift idea from our picture. The Varfalva Church asked one of their women to embroider a cloth to fit our pulpit. They would never tell us who did the sewing because the gift was from their whole congregation to our congregation. Our board of trustees was delighted to accept the pulpit cloth.
Here's a picture of their minister, Reverend Jolt. When he visited MLUC, he felt right at home preaching from our pulpit because it was decorated the same as his. I've seen some little pieces of this same red embroidery around the church. What are they for?
Varfalva uses embroidered bookmarks in their hymnals, so they decided to give some for ours. The gifts we have exchanged often reflect our own church decorations and important parts of our services. These exchanges have become symbols of our partnership and show appreciation and gratitude for our strong friendship.
In 2008, when I visited Varfalva with a group from MLUC, the church was celebrating its 50th anniversary. We were given this heavy carved wooden plaque. I see a bird, a snake, and a crown. Can you explain what the design means?
Another traditional craft is wood carving. We were honored to receive this beautiful plaque, which is installed at the back of our main meeting room. On the one side is our flaming chalice, and on the other side is a carving of the Transylvanian Unitarian Church symbol. A dove on the mountaintop is encircled by a serpent with a crown on top. The meaning comes from a Bible verse. Jesus said, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves." This was an important message for them. Years ago, some of their churches were destroyed or damaged by others who disagreed with their religion. At times, it must have felt like they were living in the midst of wolves.
So I can see that this plaque is another way of remembering our partners. On Sunday mornings, we know that they, like us, are worshiping in their Unitarian church. Both congregations get strength and support knowing their partners care about them. Gifts are certainly a way of celebrating our special relationship. What's the story behind this other wooden plaque?
8 years ago, a group from MLUC again traveled to Varfalva. This time, we celebrated the 400th anniversary of the first use of the word Unitarian, which actually happened right in Varfalva. In honor of that remarkable historical event, they presented MLUC with this carved plaque. On the bottom is a replica of the ancient sign on their church wall commemorating this occasion.
Here's a picture of the carved walkway sign the Varfalva Church dedicated to MLUC in their courtyard. This is another way they remember us every time they go to church.
And when they came to visit us in 2014, we honored them with a similar walkway sign dedicated to Varfalva. It is in front of MLUC. Look for it the next time you drive by or visit the church.
There's a lot of important history represented in these gifts. It will certainly be nice when we can have a service again inside our church and use all these special gifts. Or even better, it'll be wonderful when we can visit our partners. Our trip to celebrate the dedication of their newly renovated church last year unfortunately had to be postponed. Is there anything you want to add to the story?
When I think back over the years, I'm amazed at the impact that simple question from my children made on our family, MLUC, and our relationship with the Varfalva Unitarian Church. So I would add, listen carefully to your children's questions and ideas. The consequences of your actions might change your life and perhaps might even change the world.